So what is somewhere there? I could say 14 there, right?
Oh yeah, that's where it comes when more people come in. Yeah, usually they reply back to the email, the reform email, and I can send them a direct link.
So which one? What do you click to bring it up and bring it?
On this one.
It was in here.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Just leave it. Maybe there's a slide that says research forum or something.
Okay, so ready to start? Huh? Is my thing on? Good morning. Let's start. It's 5 minutes after 8:30 almost. Thank you very much again for coming to the forum. I see lots of people online, and we have, half of the room filled here, not completely as before. So hopefully more and more online people would be participating. And again, remember, this is your forum, and it's for you to ask questions. Last couple of times, I have received some comments when I tried to figure out why the forum suddenly became shorter. And the comments that I have received, at least 4 or 5 of them, they told me that the reason that some people didn't want to ask questions was because things were all recorded and online. So we are going to try something today. We go through the updates from accounting, from our office, and so on and so forth. And then at one point, we would stop. We basically would say from that point on, the recording would not be online. And it still would be open to everybody here as well as online to ask questions. So let's try that to see how that would work to meet the concern that I have heard regarding asking questions. So with that, Francisco, do you want to give your update, please? Do you have one of the anything else? The other. Microphone hopefully has batteries too. So thank you.
Good morning. We started fiscal close process, and I have an announcement with respect to that. When you do your accruals in the departments, please use object code 7300 for accruals associated with sub-awards. Okay. The reason we're asking that is that those accruals would be automatically reversed. And if we use 7301, there are certain other complications that arise due to the indirects. Okay? If you haven't contacted your sub-awardees about their latest invoice, please contact them so you know how much you should accrue. Okay? It is important for the university to have a clear picture of its financial status. And for that, it's very critical having the accruals. If you have any questions about that, you can contact me. And my phone number is 530-754-0604.
That's all? That's all. Okay. Thank you. Mike, you had some updates on AB20 or?
Good morning. I just want to say a little bit about AB20. AB20 is working extremely well when it's used. We're still struggling with some of the state agencies in if they use it and how they use it. But if we get a clean AB20 agreement from a state agency, we can turn that around really quickly. The problems occur when they send us an AB20 agreement with Exhibit G and a whole bunch of stuff that they want to go back to whatever agreement they were using before, and that's not what AB20 is designed to do. It completely defeats the purpose of AB20. So anytime you have an opportunity to visit with your state agency sponsors and encourage them to use AB20, in its design form and cleanly, that'd be great.
Just a little bit more. I'm not going to let you go so fast.
All right.
You just remind me that last time, actually, I had some questions. If we can just, again, in summary, say what's AB22, because there were some new people online, and they knew some about, but not quite what is AB20. The
Okay.
fact that, yeah, just history and all
Well,
that.
AB20 was, and I'm going to give you a really quick history because I don't know all the details of the history since it predates me being here. But AB20 was passed by the legislature back in, I don't know, 2010, 2011, in order to facilitate agreements between state agencies and universities. It includes the entire University of California system. It includes the entire California State University system. And the concept is that there be a template agreement so that when you have a project funded by a state agency, you use this agreement. There's no need to negotiate anything because all the terms and conditions have been negotiated ahead of time. And the legislature did this because of the time it was taking for the negotiations between state agencies and universities. And it was an incredible waste of time and a waste of the state's money because both ends of the negotiation are the state. We're negotiating against ourselves essentially, and the legislature saw that this was nonsense. And so AB20 got passed. It took until November of last year for the two state university systems and the Department of General Services, who represents all of the state agencies, to come to terms on what the terms and conditions for the AB20 template should be. Now that that template exists, all of the state agencies are supposed to use it. All of the universities are supposed to use it. And Exhibit G that I've mentioned is for exceptional circumstances. Now, some of the state agencies have taken the position that they are exceptional and their circumstances should be included in Exhibit G, but that's not really the case. The exceptional circumstances that are envisioned are, for instance, for bond funding. Sometimes a project is funded with bond funding, and that bond funding has special terms and conditions associated with the source of funds and the way the bonds were sold. We have to pass those through, and those belong in Exhibit G. But there aren't very many other things to do.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And as a part of the same issue of exceptions in Exhibit G, indirect costs. A state agency saying that they don't want to pay indirect costs less than 25%, which is the indirect cost right now for state. That's not an exception. I mean, that shouldn't go there technically. There might be, again, situations, as Mike said, that maybe under bond or some specific RFP, the indirect might be capped. But as is, generally speaking, indirect that right now is in effect for all awards from state to UC system and CSU system is 25%. And I sent an email out from the office on January 14th to the listserv. It gives you the progression that that indirect over years is going to go up to 40%. So that's what it is. So anyway, thank you very much for the quick update. Any other update from? Again, come on over. And here's Mike Legrand, Director of
Research Accounting.
Okay.
Just a quick one. I got finished up the negotiations for our French benefit rates, our compliance benefit rates. And so they approved them yesterday. So they're starting to do the rate agreement. So we should have that in a week or two signed. So it'll be on time this year, not, agreeing to it verbally July 15th. So I can run payroll on the 18th and getting a rate agreement closer to August. So we should have the actual signed rate agreement in the next couple of weeks. They agree to all the rates that are on the website, the proposed ones, so they have no adjustments on them this year. So we should be moving forward with those ones and having a signed agreement in the next couple of weeks.
Perfect. And again, you guys have been doing great. I think this is the first time in all of the years I have been here that it's so fast. We are going to have the agreement in place before the previous agreement goes out of.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're there before July 1st.
Before July 1st. Thank you. Deborah is not here regarding the trainings there. Anything else? Do you have any update? Come on, this is Chris, one of the team leaders for proposal team.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. It's good to see all your happy faces during this beautiful day. Anyway, so quick thing. I have a new counterpart. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Her name is Bridget Rands Strong. She's on vacation, but she'll be here next month. So please stop by and say hello. She's the new officer for the School of Medicine. So we are very excited about that. Please welcome her, as we all have. So I'm representing both of us, and I'm going to talk to you about the proposal deadlines for USDA, NSF, and NIH. As I spoke last month, USDA finally released a lot of their calls that we had been waiting. And so most of the proposals are usually due in May and June, and they've been pushed out because of the late release. In any case, my reminder to you is that please check their website, because depending upon your investigator's interest in research with USDA depends on whether or not you would be required to complete a letter of intent and submit that within a deadline date that's been specified by USDA, as well as in the full submission. The other thing that we want to plug here is that to use Cayuse. Cayuse is a wonderful tool to use for your proposal submissions. So please try to use Cayuse. If you have any questions about Cayuse, definitely call our office, send an email to the proposals inbox. We will get back to you and help you out the best that we can so that your faculty feels comfortable using Cayuse. I know it's a little new, so it takes a little bit longer for that first submission, but once you've got it, it's easy sailing, okay? So do you have any questions about USDA? All right, moving on.
Any questions from online? Nope, okay, thank
Let me know
you.
if they come up. So then NSF, it's a busy month. July is a very busy month with NSF. There's a lot of proposal submissions required this month, as well as the NSF career is this month. Well, this coming month. We're not in July yet, sorry. I'm a little ahead of myself. But I believe it's the 19th, 20th, and the 21st is when those submissions are due. It's really important that your faculty pay attention to the different divisions, because that sets the deadline date. If you don't know, give our office a call. If you have any questions about what needs to go into the proposal package, give our office a call. We're here to help you and help your faculty. They're fairly new at this because this is a new career award, so our proposal, so they might have questions that you might not be familiar with. We're here to help you. Call us. You have any questions about NSF? All right. Last but not least, our big one, NIH. Okay, so right now what we have coming up, July 5th, is a big NIH submission for the R01 renewal, resubmission, and revisions. It's really important, and I say this again, it's really important to prepare and submit early. In June, when we had the traditional new R01 submitted, we had problems with grants.gov and ERA Commons keeping up with the number of submissions that the United States is submitting for that day. I highly recommend that you use Cayuse or Assist and submit early, at least 2 working days before the deadline. When we come back from the holiday for 4th of July on Monday, we're off. That next day, Tuesday, is the deadline day. And if your faculty aren't ready, we're going to have problems. The submissions are not going to be guaranteed. NIH will not guarantee submission acceptance because they require or recommend a 48-hour submission to your proposals before the deadline. So we will do what we can to work with you on that actual day, but please prepare and submit early. We recommend submitting by Friday at the latest, which is July 1st. And I know a lot of people like to work, especially over a long weekend, to do the fit and finish, but we recommend trying to submit early if you can. Later in the month, on July 16th, which is another deadline for the R21 and the
Can I stop you a
R03.
little second on that July 1st?
Mhm.
With the volume that we are going to be facing, if all of the proposals come in on July 1st, chances are we are going to miss some deadlines on July 5th, because there is not going to be enough time simply to review all of those.
Well, no, I
We-
mean,
we
ready
want
to
to submit
submit
them
by
on-
the 1st. So it should
Submit,
be here
okay.
5 working
Okay,
days in
good.
advance of the 1st.
Good.
Be ready to submit.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
for that clarification
Sure.
too. let's be ready to submit Friday, July 1st. We should have that proposal no later than the Friday before or that Monday. So please prepare. Get your faculty involved, explain to them that we've had problems with grants.gov and ERA Commons. We had some submissions this month that it took until in the middle of the night for the confirmations to come through, and 2 of them had errors, and it was past the deadline. So it's really, really important to submit early. I can't stress that enough because we want the faculty to have the best opportunity to have their proposal be reviewed and accepted by ERA Commons.
The Friday before is this Friday.
It is, thank you. So the Friday before would be this Friday, and that's the 24th, right? Friday the 24th. So submit your NIH proposals for review Friday. That would be so helpful. So incredibly helpful. Again, like I was saying, there's July 16th. July 16th is it's a Saturday, thank you. Yeah, that's right. So it's Saturday. So what we are recommending is that the proposals be submitted on that Friday. However, the proposal deadline falling on a weekend goes to the next business day, which would go to Monday the 18th. So just so you know, but submit early. That's all I can really recommend, and use Cayuse or Assist. They'll help you tease out any warnings and errors that you would have in the proposal that are not visible to the naked eye. That's what the systems are for, to help the faculty ensure that their proposals are truly ready for the submission. And if you have any questions, definitely call our office. That's what we're here for, to help you and help the faculty in any way that we can.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Online?
Nothing on that? Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. For those of you who have submitted proposals in the past, long time ago, is the 5th of the month deadline used to be the 1st of the month. So at one point, it was like 6-7 years ago, I believe, they decided to move it from the 1st to the 5th to give more time to researchers and whatever, which I don't know what's the purpose of it. And every time I have checked the calendar, July 5th is the day after July 4th. So, so I don't know, just know this is how it works. It's just very interesting that, the purpose of giving 5 extra days is just meaningless because you would keep working to the last minute. Okay, any questions from here? Oh, Brian, I'm sorry. Brian, come on over.
Yeah.
Team leader from one of the awards team. And then after that, I would give you an update on the vacancies. We have lots of them.
Yeah, so this is just real short. This is going to the AB20 model agreement that Mike talked about a little bit before. At the time of proposal, as you probably know, if you've submitted a proposal to a state agency, there's a template forms that need to be completed. There's an Exhibit A for the scope of work, Exhibit A1 for deliverables, so on. One of the exhibits, Exhibit A3, is a list of contacts for the university and for the state agency. And what Sponsored Programs has done is we've put together a list, a template A3 that's specific to UC Davis with all of our contact information. So it's contact information in there for Sponsored Programs and for contracts and grants accounting. There's also space in there for the PI that needs to be completed at the time of proposal. So we're going to post this completed template, Exhibit A3. We're going to post it on the Sponsored Programs webpage that has information about AB20 and the model agreement. It'll also be distributed to all the Sponsored Programs analysts. And if you would like a copy of it in your department, if you're not here today, if you're joining us online, hello, internet friends, you can send me an email. My email address is B as in Brian, D as in Daniel, Russ, R-U-S-S, at ucdavis.edu. Or you can send an email to awards@ucdavis.edu, and I'll send you a copy of the template.
Why don't you quickly go through it and say what the pieces are, what should be put in each one?
Okay, so I had a request to go over each piece and what goes in them. And so I'll go over it right now. So the first box in the second column under university contacts, the first box says principal investigator. So that's the contact information for the PI, so that'd be completed at the time of proposal. The next box down is authorized official, and the authorized official, the contact there should be our executive director, Ahmad Kimalahi. And then the address would be Sponsored Programs address, 1850 Research Park Drive. The telephone number, the fax number, and the email are all the specific contact information for for Ahmad, since he is the authorized official. Under that box, there's a line that says send notices to if different than the authorized official. And in that box, you should put the general contact information for sponsored programs. So our general line, 530-754-7700, and the email address of awards@ucdavis.edu. Then in the second page, there's a box for administrative contact, and that administrative contact box should be either the sponsored program's proposal analyst or the awards analyst, depending on which stage of the process it's at. So if you're submitting a proposal, it'd be the sponsored program's proposal analyst and their contact information. And if it's awarded, then we would change that to the awards analyst. Then we put the sponsored programs analyst in that box, because in the definitions of the model agreement, they define the administrative contact as the person who's responsible for the day-to-day administrative management of the agreement itself. So that's why we put sponsored programs in there, because it's not designed to be a programmatic point of contact. And then the final box is the authorized financial contact / invoicing. So for there, we've put contact information for James Ringo, the contracts and grants accounting. So he's the division manager. Again, it's the address, the mailing address, and then the telephone number for CGA, 757-8523, and the email address for James. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. Thank you very much, Brian. So any general questions from anywhere? Here or online? Or is it the time to say that we would basically, for all practical purposes, we stop recording and then we can have more questions, hopefully? Okay, ready? Okay. So now from this point on, we won't have recorded portion of today's meeting online. So any questions now? Here or online? Going first? No. Maybe this experiment is not going to work.
People are prepared for it.
Yeah. So I didn't want to send a message to the list there saying that we are going to censor something. So maybe next time it would work better. Okay, so again, we'll try it again next time to see if it would help. If you have questions, especially from online that you are watching, and you would prefer to ask your question without being recorded, we would try it again next time. And hopefully we would have more discussions going on. Yes, Chris. There's a recommendation from Chris here saying that one option that we can try is to, for you, when you have questions, send the questions to us in advance. Either, then we can use them and answer them, however you would prefer to receive the answer. That's a very good idea. So the email to use is either proposals or awards. Probably that's a very good idea. Thank you.
You would specify it's a question for the forum as opposed to a question you're just asking.
And the comment from Mike is that if you decide to send a question for the forum to be answered here, please, and you are sending it to proposals or awards, please, maybe in the subject line even, say that this is a question for the forum. So it won't overload the proposals and awards email inbox, so we can deal with it properly. John tells me that there is one question from online. Do you want? Yeah, just 1 second. You read it, please.
Question is Cayuse training still available?
Yes.
Oh, that was a
Thursday morning.
Now you have to explain.
Okay.
Now repeat the question, please.
Yes, we have a training session scheduled every Thursday morning. If you would like to join one of those sessions, send an email to proposals, the proposals inbox, proposals@ucdavis.edu, and we will get an invitation sent to you for one of the trainings in the future.
Thank you. Francisco, you had something more.
I forgot to mention that UC Davis has been selected for the A133 full audit this year.
How can you forget?
So that's a nightmare. So it's important that the departments have their documentation online. Because I like to provide the auditors within, if they ask for something, try to get the information to them within 24 to 48 hours. Otherwise, they'll start questioning, why did it take so long?
Mhm.
And in the past audit, providing them within 24 hours calmed everybody down, especially if it was complete. And usually what I'll do is when the information is sent, I'll review it. If I have additional information, I'll add it. If it is not complete, I'll go back to the department and ask them for the additional information. And this really, A133 audit is an effort that is a joint work between Office of Research, Contracts and Grants Accounting, and the departments. So it's not something that I'm just passing on to you. It's something that we share.
What's the timeline for that?
So far, they haven't established dates. Tentatively, there'll be a preliminary visit that might occur in July. Then they'll have a secondary visit that would be August and or September. That will take about approximately 3 weeks in total. That's the estimate.
Okay, thank you. Any questions regarding that? Yes.
So, at least for research purposes, we're supposed to have proof of receipt. And with the new invoicing process where things are automatically going to accounts payable when they're below a certain dollar amount, whatever, they aren't getting that information before they pay the invoice, and the invoices are not routed to the account manager for approval. So it's not until we do our ledger review that we discover that that information is not there. Do you have any suggestions for, is there, that process going to be improved?
Francis, could you repeat the question, please?
The question is that right now with the changes in procedures in which accounts payable is paying invoices under a certain amount automatically without the approval of the department, and the document is not routing to the department, is there anything, any recommendations? Okay. First of all, that's an issue that we have to bring up and discuss, okay, to see if that policy works. Okay. The most important part on this is getting the receipt, the receiving of the goods, and having it dated. Okay.
That's the problem is here now.
Okay. So
We're not given the opportunity to provide that information.
you're not giving, but are you receiving the goods in some way? Are you leaving some documentation? Because usually when a good is delivered, they have a form that is of the enclosed material.
And the person that normally processes our invoices is the one who gets that paperwork, but because the invoices are going to her, it's going through some central accounts payable thing, that entire process is falling apart.
Could you repeat that, please? For
Okay. The question was, the comment was that the documentation, the invoice is going directly to accounts payable, correct? And the receiving is being done by the department. And many times the invoice will be processed already after, without the receiving part. Is that correct? Okay. One recommendation that I would have on that is that you can always go back to a document and attach a quality document and attach additional documents.
That's a lot of extra effort on the document is not even routed to us even as an FYI.
Okay.
To show that it's happened, that we're only gonna catch that in ledger review.
Okay.
That's our only opportunity to catch that.
Okay. All I can promise you right now is that I'm going to talk to the people of AP to bring that up. Okay? But I would request that you keep those documents. We might go back to you if one of your projects are selected and ask for that documentation. Yes,
It's the shared services center that you want to talk to. They're the ones that are processing invoices that are received that are under $1,000.
Yeah.
Although that's not the hard and fast threshold, they process documents that exceed that $1,000 threshold. And my understanding is that they're only supposed to be limited departments that are piloting that. But unfortunately, the shared services center has no way of, or doesn't go the extra mile of looking to see whose invoice they're receiving. And because lots of vendors have only, or want to have only one address for the university, it gets updated in the shared services center, so all of our invoices end up going to the shared services.
the comment is the following, that supposedly the policy is they will only manage invoices under $1,000, but they are actually doing some others amounts.
Just one second, it's just, this is not working that well. How about if you
Oh,
talk in here so we
can
can,
everybody hear me? Or are we still live streaming?
well, yeah, they are live streaming, but we wouldn't, yeah.
I just wanted to know, are we gonna send out something up to the department so they know to keep that information so that we're not caught without that information if they think that they don't have to do it anymore because they're not doing the invoices and so they're just scrapping that paper?
Okay, that's it. Yes.
Do we want to let people know?
I mean, it should be electronic. They should be scanning it.
Or can we get back to the original point, which was that you want everything electronic so we can get it to you in under 2 days? And that's the whole point. With our normal process, those packing slips and all that receiving information is already included when we process the invoice. With the current process, when it gets rerouted to central accounts payable to get paid, that doesn't get caught. It takes a lot of extra time and effort to bring that information now in to the system to meet the requirement that this conversation started with, which is that all of this should be electronic so that we can get the information to you promptly.
Well, I'll talk to James, so he puts a communication in listserv, okay, about that. And we'll start working with that. And then I'm going to try to establish communication with the shared service centers and AP, how, to see how can it be, the process be adjusted to accommodate everybody's needs.
Question from online?
What period are they auditing?
They are auditing the fiscal year 2016. So it would be any transactions that go from July of last year through June of this year.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? There's nothing else online there either. Well, I think we went 10 minutes more than last time. Anything else before we stop? No? Okay, thank you very much again for being here today. And we'll try this procedure of turning off the system for recording and trying to have more questions and answers. Thank you. Bye-bye.